Is having read 1,000 books by the time you're 40 too many? Too few? Just right? Hello, I'm Claire and I like some books. Now that I've read 1,000 of them, I can share the success story and the side effects. Then you'll be better able to judge if you would like to set such an ambitious reading goal for yourself. How did I get here? You would think the answer would be, I was reading books for decades. So I eventually got to 1,000. And I'm sure for most people, that's exactly how it works. However, I am a special type of obsessive who has to min-max everything I do all the time. 7 years ago, I was reading an average of 2 books a year. And I was convinced that reading 1,000 books in a lifetime was virtually impossible. Then I discovered I liked audiobooks and I started listening. The goal of reading 1,000 books in a lifetime now seemed at least theoretically possible. So I set it as a lifetime goal that I might achieve one day. And I prioritized reading about almost everything else, mostly in the form of audiobooks. 5 years later, I was reading 200 books a year. 2 years after that, I hit the 1,000 goal. This means I got the condensed reading 1,000 books experience, and consequently, the consequences of this intense reading experience are probably more intense than they would be had I been able to pace myself. What has reading so much meant for me and the people around me? Unsurprisingly, the books I've read changed me. However, the ways in which my life is now different might be surprising to you. It definitely is surprising to me. The most obvious way in which books have changed my life is with their content. This is especially true for non-fiction books, but also for fiction books. The less obvious changes in my life come from the format of the books. I'm still unsure if these are more a positive or a negative, as I think most of them are both. Here's what I mean in 6 examples. First, books versus movies. I can't watch movies anymore. Books generally focus more on the inner life of a character. There's also a greater emphasis on why characters are doing what they're doing. Again, speaking very broadly here. And the simple fact that an average book lasts you a longer time than a movie means you spend more time immersed in the world and hanging out with the characters. So after a while of reading books, I've noticed that movies just don't grip me as much. I have no interest in them. Now, I will watch a highly recommended movie here and there, and I will like it, sometimes even love it. But when I'm deciding what I want to do in my free time, watching a movie isn't even in the top 20. Second, chores aren't such a chore anymore. It's not that I have to clean the bathroom. I get to listen to amazing books while making the place where I live cleaner and nicer. I will go so far to invent stuff to clean, bake, declutter, tidy up, just so I can keep listening to a particularly interesting audiobook. 3. Boring topics aren't as boring anymore. I hated history in school. It was all about remembering names and places and events and no connections between them. That, of course, isn't what history actually is, and now I know that, thanks to books and YouTube. 4. Reading is normal. 8 years ago, I went through life thinking nobody read any books ever, or close to it. I wasn't reading, so obviously nobody else was either. Now I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I just assume everybody reads. All the time. Obviously, both assumptions are wrong, and I'm just projecting in both cases. And yet, my brain refuses to see a middle ground there. I just keep recommending books to everybody, everywhere, all the time. And you shall see a tiny proof of that at the end of this video. 5. Monofocus on a topic. If a book grips me, then that's all I want to talk about. And I get annoyed because not everybody on this planet is listening to the same book at the same speed as me. How dare they? Don't they know that I need to talk about the things that I'm reading constantly? Luckily for my husband, this monofocus doesn't last long because after a few days I will be done with the book and I will switch to something else. 6. Format matters. I have developed an unrealistic expectation of how fast I can read a physical book. I'm a slow iBook reader and a fast audiobook listener. And I tend to forget that. It gets me in minor trouble when I need to read an iBook for a book club. And it gets me into slightly more trouble when I order way too many physical books and then I have zero shelf space to put them on. Apart from the mentioned changes to my life, my perception of books in general has also changed. Mainly in 3 ways. 1. Great books exist. Anyone can find a book that they consider to be great. Just like anyone can find a movie they love. If you think books are boring, that's because you haven't yet found books that speak to you. This is not a scientifically great statement as it's unfalsifiable, but I stand by it. 2. Even though great books exist, it is hard to find them. I don't know of any way of curating what you'll read that will only leave you with great books to read. There are always going to be some good and some not that good ones mixed in there somewhere. For example, you might try to read other books from an author who has proven to you that they can write a great book. But number 3, rare is an author who consistently produces great books. By great, I again mean whatever you consider to be great. There are many authors who are consistent. Some are even consistently good. But great seems to be a bar that's too hard for the vast majority to reach. In practice, this means that reading another book from the author of your favorite novel, unfortunately, isn't a guarantee you will like this new book. Your chances, in my personal experience, will be just slightly higher than just picking a random book from your wish list. Now, these 3 truths probably don't surprise anybody who has been reading books for a while, but they are a surprise to me, hence the list. What are my plans for the future? This is the part where I need to confess to the not that great side effects of reading that much in a fairly short amount of time. I think I've reached my possible maximum of books read in a year, while still remaining a half-functioning adult. To become a 3/4 functioning adult, I need to pull back on the reading. How things are now is that I will listen to a book literally all the time while I'm not at the computer or in a social situation. So when it comes time for me to write, I sit down at the computer and nothing. For some strange, definitely not audiobook related reason, I can't just start typing. Possibly because I'm doing this. Then I get frustrated and I give up on the whole thing for the whole day. Pro tip, this is not how you will finish a novel or even a short story. Reading has gotten past the point of just feeding my writing. It has started to replace it. The conjecture is that I need to allow my mind times of silence in which I can think about the story I am writing, even though I am not at the computer physically writing it. Then, when I actually sit down to do the typey thing, I might be better prepared for it. And I have been trying this out for the past few days, and I am happy to report that it really does work. So it's definitely something that I do want to continue doing. Reading less. My other wishes for the future include finding better ways of finding great books, continue DNFing books that do not grip me, slow down the buying of physical books. And how about setting another goal for a number of books read in a lifetime? With this, I am unsure what to do. The 1000 goal was inspirational to me because I thought I would either never get to it or I would need 30 to 40 years to do it. I still think that's quite a lot of books to read in a lifetime. My current pace of reading is around 250 books per year without me trying hard to read them. All the systems I built work very well, too well, as I already mentioned. And all of that is great, and it is also predictable. I can tell you that I'm very likely to have read 2,000 books in 4 years and 5,000 in 16. Those sound to me more like checkpoints than truly inspirational goals. The goal of 10,000 books read in a lifetime, I should be able to get to in 36 years. Now, 36 years is a long time. It is in the ballpark of what I thought I would need to read the 1,000 books. Although back then I didn't do actually any math on this. I was going off vibes only. So maybe that's what I need to do now too. 10,000 books sounds intimidatingly impressive. So why not just vibe with that? 1,037 I've already read, 8,963 to go. If YouTube and I are both still here when I get to the 10,000, first of all, congrats to both of us. And second, I'll do another video and see if any of these before mentioned changes have changed. Now, what changes have you noticed when reading a lot? What insights have you discovered? Do you already have a goal you would like to hit for books read in a lifetime, or will you now create one? Which one? I'd love to compare notes with you. Till the next time you click on one of my videos. Bye-bye. You're still here? Then you get a book recommendation. The most obvious book to recommend after watching a video about reading 1,000 would be to take my favorite out of the 1,000, but that's simply not possible. I do not have one favorite book. That's why I'm going with an unexpected recommendation. One Red Dot by David A. Carter. It's a pop-up book for children. It has fun pop-up elements and helps kids learn to count to 10. I got it for myself a few weeks ago and I